here. This is gonna be our goal with a little snowman and a couple of tools that you're gonna need. I do like to use like a little top off of a can just to kind of give me some defined edges. I will use a ruler. Always kind of keep a ruler around just to make sure that the dimensions are good. I've got all my favorite paint brushes. I know that this kind of edge is always pretty good for painting just about everything, but I like a fat one too. So I do want a number 8 micron pen when we get ready to do that. And I think you guys have those. And of course, this little go-to paint set, which we can just find a variety of colors. And I do have these two. These are the Master's Touch that I have, the lamp black, and I love this leaf green. So I don't use a ton of these more expensive watercolors, but the color is so rich on both of these that I think it's good to use. Okay, always have your little cup of water, and I do like usually outline with a watercolor pencil. Okay, so let's start out by just actually drawing the snowman. I'm gonna put this down at the bottom, and keep in mind I'm only doing the bottom part, and real light with my watercolor pencil I'm gonna just go around for part of it. See how I didn't do the whole thing? And then I'm gonna come up here, and just on this side I'm gonna come in about like that, and then on this side I'm gonna scoot it over and come in about like that, just so I can start forming that. And then I feel confident enough as an artist just to kind of bring this around real lightly and then do the head on my own. So you can just do a little, don't make that head too small though. We don't want a pea-headed snowman. So I've got that, and you know, it can change a little bit because this is a watercolor pencil. And then I think I'm gonna come down on his head like this, and then just make his little hat like this. And we'll go ahead and do a light scarf here, and one of these will go this way, and one of these will go this way. And we can even go ahead and make our little dots right here. And then go ahead and make your little dots right here, and little, and these black dots we eventually will make just with that micron pen that I was talking about. Okay, and then let's make a line right here, and then just make those little gloves. And then let's do a line right here and make another little glove. Keep in mind, whatever you do, it doesn't have to be perfect right now, because you're going to paint over a lot of this. Okay, so see how we've just kind of got the whole thing. All right, so let's start painting. I'm just going to start out getting kind of my big brush, and I want to go with kind of a blue, any kind of blue, and I'll pull this down so you can actually see it. I'm just grabbing any blue. I don't really care. I just want to create some sort of very light blue around it and make it very watery, because you want it to almost look like snow that is just reflecting off. So see how that's not really light, and do leave a lot of white. I'm just taking any of my blues that I can find. See, I got that a little bit more right there, which is fine. This is just, you know. And do kind of smooth it in. I think we've talked about, you know, making sure that it doesn't look like you painted, it just looks like a splash. Okay. And do come with your pen. You've already, with your paintbrush, you've already like done the watercolor, but I do want you to like give a little bit of softness to that, although we're gonna come around in the end and do a little bit. So see how it's just a very light, almost think I want a little bit of extra blue, like right here. But don't work too much time on it. It'll end up looking fake. Ooh. Yeah, that was a little too much. But you know what? The beauty of water. But kind of like that. I forgot to tell you to get a paper towel in case you do something weird like that. So always have a paper towel around. And remember, although I think I'm starting to sort of love that, I can pick it up, you know, with my paper towel. Okay? Got it? All right. So let's go ahead right now and let's pull some of this black up here. It's just right there. And I do want it to be a little bit watery. So after I dip it in there, I'll dip it in the water and draw your little hat. Be real careful with that. I don't want it to look like a painted hat. I want it to look more like a watery hat, okay? So start dark up there and then kind of come down. Leave that area for the red hat part, and then we're just gonna kind of I don't mind if it runs a little bit. See how it's running into that? That's kind of cool. And then rinse your brush out, and then let's pull some of that black paint down. But leave that little space for, we're going to do our red after that dries. Okay, and let's use our paper towel. Your brush, see how cool that is, what you can do with your brush. Yeah, that's going to be a great hat. I love it. And you know what? I have never once in my whole life painted the same thing twice. Okay, so we've got that much of it. Now let's go ahead and do his little gloves. And I'm using that green that I told you about a while ago. It's the leaf green from the Premier Watercolors. I want this to be somewhat dark. So let's go ahead. I'll draw a line right here. Draw my little, I hope you're getting all of this. Yeah. Okay. And you can leave it just a little bit wet. It will dry eventually. And then go on the other side. Try to make it pretty symmetrical if you didn't like me in the drawing. And it's light right now, but I'm just gonna come and add a little bit of color to it. Like that, okay? And then while you've got, I used black, so I think I'm gonna change my water just a little bit. You have to be really careful if you're using black, because sometimes it will dull some of the other colors that you have. All right, so let's look at his scarf. If you'll notice, what I've got is just red, black, red, black, red, black, but it's not perfect. So let's just kind of duplicate that. I'm gonna go with one of my deeper reds, and all I'm gonna do is just do a line. And depending on how dark you want it, use your water according to how dark you want it. In fact, I'm gonna change brushes right now, because if you'll notice, and if you see how that red got on there, that's perfectly fine. Don't worry one bit. But I think I want to go with a little bit smaller brush. Let's do this one. Okay. All right, so I dampen it a little bit, and then blot it on my paper towel. Get some of that red. And yeah, that what is a better brush and a deeper red color. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go all the way. Doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I kind of think it's cuter when it's not perfect. Go ahead and get some more. All right, and then I'm gonna come, my scarf is right here. So I'm gonna come down this way. Please note that it is in no way perfect, and that's kind of fun. Fun that we don't have to be perfect. I'm so glad I don't have to be perfect. That's very... I do think in a minute we're gonna like have to put something like right there in a minute. Okay, that looks beautiful. I just love it already. And last thing, let's go ahead and get some orange. Just make sure your orange is orange, that it stands out. And I kind of want it to be something that sticks out. And this one does need to be a little bit more defined. But at the same time, leave a few little white spaces. You're just doing like a triangle. See where I left a few little white spaces? Yep, that works. That's just beautiful. Okay. All right. Now, we're at somewhat of a stopping point. I want to make sure that this area up here is dry, because what I don't want to do is have a super messy little band around his head. So let's just go ahead and do it, and be very, very careful. Do not use too much water, because that will kind of mess you up. So just put the band there and be very careful about not touching too much black. And if it's not dry, be super careful. I think most of it is dry. And leaving the white spaces is perfectly fine. Okay? You see that? This is going to be so cute. I love it already. Just add there. Okay, and then let's come back. Hopefully this is dry. If it's not, you can always keep a little hair dryer at bay. I'm gonna go back to this bigger brush to do the black, just because I want one stroke to like do it. Okay, so I got my black right here. I did want make sure you don't have too much water on it so it'll won't mess it up. And just put one little stroke right here. One little stroke right here, right here, right here. And you can leave those white spaces. That'll just make the scarf really pretty. Okay, now watch what I'm gonna do right here. I'm gonna pull away from the scarf to make that. You see what we just did? Okay, now let's do right here, right here, right here, right here, right here. And I see some of that water coming off. I want to be real careful because I don't want it to mess up. And then let's do one more and then pull off and then something weird's happening right here. So we're just gonna kind of, yeah, we'll fix that when we come along. All right, I think I want a black right here too. All right, is that pretty? We are just coming right along. Now, if you want to, we can do this with the marker if you want to, but I think since I've got my black and I'm like feeling brave, I'm gonna go ahead and do my little dots, because I will say it gives more of a watercolor effect when you do it with the paint. Do not use much water at all. try to get 4 in there. That's really cute. We did a good job. I like it. Now, I am noticing that in my drawing, I've got a few little, if you see that right there, I do want to soften that with my brush. Remember, we drew it with a watercolor, watercolor pencil. So go ahead and soften anything. Just look at anything that you might have. What dang? No problem. Because look, you get a little piece of piece of paper. Okay. Yeah, and that'll all come out when it's through. All right. This is a stopping point, so you've done this much, but what we're gonna have to do now, we're gonna take a little bit different color of blue. And you see how that went up there? I like that. I think it's pretty, and I think when we come back and trace it, it's gonna be really good. So we wanna kind of do the background. We want it to look like a snowy day. So I'm just gonna take one of the blues right here. Before I do, and you do use a bigger brush on this, but I would like to kind of use this brush right here, and I want to go ahead and wet my paper all around the snowman, because we don't want a sense of, in fact, if you've got a bigger brush, that would be even better. Do not touch that black paint or you'll be so sorry. Okay, so I got, that's called doing a wash. I don't know all the vocabulary, but anyway. So I pretty much got that wet, and then I'm gonna come in here, and you see how that just creates a beautiful, almost like a winter background. Just be careful, once again, not to get that. And if you've got like a deeper or different blue, or a grayer blue, and don't worry that it's kind of the same. We want to get that winter effect. And like I said, try not to touch the snowman too much. And I think I'm gonna get bold right here. I'm gonna like put something like a darker blue, kind of like we did on this one right here. You know, you'll never do the same one twice, but I think I'm gonna try to just go big or go home. So let me do this blue right here. You know what? If you don't feel good about this, don't try it, because it might not create what you want to create, and I don't want to mess up your beautiful thing. Okay, so I am done for now, and in a few minutes after everything is dried, I'm going to come back and do 3 things. Number 1, I'm going to outline everything with that black micron pen, preferably number 8, and then I'm going to, if you'll notice, like I do some little scribblies. This is almost like a weird little signature, and I'll show you that later. But then we're also gonna do the little splashes, but we do wanna wait for everything to dry. And then you'll put your little signature. All right, love y'all. Have a great day. Alrighty, now we've had time to finish drying. I will tell you that I have like a fan in my house, and I just laid this right in front of the fan and kind of had this little edge underneath the fan so that it could just blow on it and dry it a little faster. So now is the final touches, and if you'll remember, this is kind of what we're shooting for. We're gonna outline everything, and then we're gonna do the little streak, and then come back and do those little wet drops. Okay, so if you have a shaky hand, you can actually use this again to help you outline, but be very careful about how you do it. I'm just gonna start around right here. See how that made it beautiful? And we can come back and touch that up just a little bit. But let's do our gloves, and you want them to be kind of symmetrical. So draw your little beautiful. Nice. Okay, and then if you'll remember, we need to like bring up that just a little bit and bring this down a little bit. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to make it kind of the same on both sides. Okay, and if you need to fill in some things, that's fine. Okay, so we've got this. Now let's do the little, let me see if we're getting this on camera. Perfect. All right, let's come around here. I'm not gonna trace this because I think it's already well done, but note how we do that. This is really pretty, I love it. All right, and then do the little head. And then let's do the hat up here. I love how that hat turned out. It's not exactly like that other one. And then finally up here. I love that. And then if you want to, I don't really see a need because I think it's dark enough. Go ahead and outline the carrot. And if you do want to, like right there, just put a little, maybe on this side, put a little, whatever, that'd be fine. If it's not dark enough, you can go around those circles, but I don't see a need to do that at all. I am going to come with my brush and dab just a little bit of water to smooth this part out. And don't forget to change your water often. See how I'm just kind of smoothing that out? And this pen should not cause a problem as far as like melting, but you do want to not put too much water on. And if you do, it doesn't even matter. All right, I love that so much. Now, the next thing we're going to do with this, and this is just very intricate and very artsy. You don't have to do it perfect, but let's just come right out of here and go like that. And then come out of here and just go, just kind of like a little scribble, okay? And then we're gonna get our little black paint. I think we've talked about this technique in other videos, but you can either get one of these brushes, depending on how big you want the dots to be. I think I'm gonna go with this a little bit smaller brush. See, that's my bigger one, this is my smaller one. And so I'm going to dip it in the water, and then I'm gonna dip it in my black paint, okay? And then I'm gonna just put it right, you can see how I'm like holding my hand, but did you see how I just splashed that on there? You don't wanna do too much. Let's put a little bit of extra right down here, a little bit of extra right down here. That's so pretty. Maybe right here. All right, so there you go. Mr. Snowman, if you see anything you just want to touch up or that you don't like, just be real careful because it's wet. I do think I'm gonna come in here and try to fix that without messing anything up. Okay. Perfect. All right, and then always, always, always down at the bottom, put your little signature. So that's me, Jenny Johnson. And it's 2022. All right, I hope you are able to make the perfect snowman yourself. Love you.